Now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. This is the end of this month of Lynch. Somewhere down the line will be a whole month of Twin Peaks, which will probably have to extend more than a month.
Yeah, probably.
But for the meantime, this is the end of our look at the 9 feature films, excluding Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, of David Lynch. At the end of this episode, we will be discussing our rankings of Lynch, which I keep fiddling with. I'm really... I know you're pretty sturdy, I think, but we'll get there when we get there. But in the meantime, we do have to discuss David Lynch's, still to this day, final feature-length film, Inland Empire. And at the end of Inland, at the end after this, he said he'd never direct again, which was very sad. And then we did indeed get 18 hours of glorious Lynch. But before that, we ended with Inland Empire. Jay, what's your relationship with Inland Empire?
So I think I watched half of this pretty much the day after I watched Mulholland Drive for the first time. And then I was like, okay, this is too much and stuff. This is
a little bit different, yeah.
And then I didn't touch it until I binged them all again. And then I watched it on my TV and on a fucking telephone. And I watched it all on the TV. And I watched the whole thing.
This can't have made any money. The box office was 4 million and there's no disclosed budget. I mean, so no, basically.
So no.
And I didn't especially expect it to make any money. It's not the sort to, because it's entirely filmed on digital video.
Yes, it's very looking like 28 Days Later.
Yeah, and Black Swan it's some like cheap version of a video, I don't know. But Black Swan also looks grainy.
Does it?
It does, yeah, good movie. But this is like full-blown camcorder. This is just...
I mean, I don't know if there's any point in me watching the Blu-ray version. But although there are some really good-looking shots.
Well, I was going to say, I do have the Blu-ray, and I do think it is worth it. I do think, like with any camcorder, when you're in the light and it's well lit, it's as good-looking almost as any other shot. It's when it's the dark, and I can tell beyond it just being very, very easy for him to experiment, because we start with a Razorhead. And Eraserhead is made in 77 for 3 years beforehand. There isn't really a world in the film industry now, or at least in 2006, where you could do that, where you can shoot for 3 years and experiment. And so I guess the closest you could get is just get a bunch of digital cameras and bring in all my friends.
Go around Poland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were to surmise the plot of Inland Empire, what would be your 1-line, 2-line summation?
I mean, it's literally the tagline.
This is true. Give us
A woman in trouble. A woman in trouble.
And that she is. The woman in question is Laura Dern, the wonderful, as always, Laura Dern.
Yep.
Who delivers a stellar performance in spite of. You can put it 2 ways. You could say that in spite of everything, or because of everything. I'll play my cards early. I think for me, Inland Empire goes a bit too far.
Who are those people?
Hey! Hello! It's good to see you. Come in, come in. Get some hot dogs.
You said 3 o'clock?
Yes, that's right. You're right on time.
Give me my hammer. Give me the. Give me the hammer.
I think it goes beyond the pale of experimental. For me, even Lost Highway, there are clues, there are things there, and even with this, there are clues there. But it just feels overall like a messier beast. And
do you think part of it might be the graininess of the camera?
I don't know. I'd love to see a perfectly shot, filmed version of this. However, also, I don't think it'd lend to the way that this story is being told. I think the right choice has been made with this digital camera.
Yeah, me too.
Because it adds a nice grit to it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, something to think about.
I can't. I think it is just, and also the length. This is the longest Lynch film by far. This is 3 hours. I always moan about people who say they don't want to watch The Irishman because it's 3.5 hours, and then they'll watch 10 hours of The Walking Dead back to back, or they'll watch a whole season of something in one day, and I'll go, well, why didn't you just watch The Irishman? That was 3.5 hours ago. And they go, no, that was too long. Are you for real? So yeah, that annoys me. And so I know I sound like a hypocrite here, because after all, I wouldn't necessarily say that 18 hours of 18 hours of Twin Peaks: The Return is excessive. And in many ways, I'd probably prefer it to round it out to 20. Do you remember when it started, Twin Peaks: The Return?
Yeah.
And they were going to say that it was going to be, there was like a confrontation because they wanted to cut it down to, was it 8 episodes?
To 9, I think, like half the length.
Yeah. I said, and then you go, oh, okay, that's odd. But then watching it, you go, okay, I get it. Yeah. This could not be 18 hours. Sorry, this could not be 9 hours.
Yeah, no, that's
so
that would completely destroy the structure. The show.
I'm going to ruin another thing. Inland Empire is bottom of my Lynch ranking.
Bottom?
It's bottom.
Okay.
I think Dune Dune's
Oh, I
eighth.
didn't know.
I think
Sorry,
Dune's
I just
eighth. That's all right.
Okay.
I've put Dune eighth just because there are long stretches where I go, okay, there's something here I'm really enjoying, and there are moments in this that I'm enjoying.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I mean, it just doesn't do it for me.
It's going to be a very funny podcast.
YouTube comments. I think I was alone, except for one person when I watched it at the cinema. I sat right in the middle with no one else visible in my line of sight, and I completely fell into David Lynch's world. I'm probably alone here, but Inland Empire is one of my favorite films of the past 2 decades. It did make some top lists of the year for the critics. People did like it. Some.
Yep.
Watched on shrooms. Pretty interesting experience.
Oh no.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun. I Googled best movies to fall asleep to, and this was in the top 10. And then they've put, yeah, get stuffed, mate. But and then the number 8.
All right. Okay.
And that's it for YouTube comments.
All right.
So you enjoy Inland Empire. For you, what brings you back to it?
God, I don't know. I think it's the closest thing to me that he has to like a relentless horror picture for me. I mean, you have your Frank Booth, you have your everything, but for me, this, like, with the graininess, with the darkness, with all the different scenes and everything and the random tangents it just goes on, it's like diving into hell for 3 hours, like through his eye, for me. And
I can get into that. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, yeah, it's like, for me, it's this film. I mean, not to get like really thematic or anything.
No.
For me, this is about like the female experience. For me, like at its worst, like the literal tagline is "A woman in trouble," and you have like all these different characters that Laura Dern plays and all these other girls as the whole, like the prostitutes in the streets, the celebrity woman who's married to a husband but has an affair, the Polish woman who reunites with her family at the end. I think it's all like a shared experience through a character that changes into different roles throughout the film. And if you looked at it as like a kind of purgatory, with it ending with them moving on in a way from the life that they have experienced as a kind of hell, that's just how I look at it. I see it as like the pain that they go through, that they can go through. I think it's a very sympathetic film that's very harsh. And it opens with the prostitute like stripping for this man, and then it ends with, well, them all dancing and moving on after that wonderful Polish poem by Krista Bell.
Who we then get with The Return.
Yeah, who didn't sing in The Return, which surprised me. Tammy.
Did you ever read the books? Did you ever read the Twin Peaks books, the Mark Frost books? Yeah. That was
Have you read them?
I have read them, yes. I haven't read the second one. I've only read the first one.
Okay, the first one I like. It's interesting. The second one, I feel it explains too much for me. I'm like, no, I need some more room to dream.
And also, they're just beautiful. Very nice books. That was. I do find it funny that they were like, okay, Mark, write a book. Obviously, Mark was greatly involved. I would love to be a fly on the wall in those writing sessions. I mean, Mark Frost is credited on every episode.
Yeah. I could tell he did the Wally Brando scene.
Yeah, that's good.
I think obviously like the part 8 was his idea, but I think he wrote in the script like David just does his thing.
Okay, that's pretty great. I do greatly enjoy that. Best 10-minute stretch.
Okay, that's tough.
It's not 10 minutes, but I love Grace Zabriskie.
Oh yeah, I mean that I think that might be 10 minutes.
It is long.
Yeah.
It just perfectly brings us sort of into the world of dread that we're going to be in. And
Yeah. Oh, and the way it ends with the transition, which is like, if it was tomorrow, you would be sat over there. And then she just looks.
Well, it annoys this movie, I guess, annoys me more than anything because there's so many moments that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And and I go, oh, just okay. But if that was just a little bit, okay. And I know I'm being infuriating, but that's my sort of relationship.
No, it's fair. It's fair. It's a very tough film. Like the camera definitely doesn't help. I mean, obviously it does help, but like it doesn't help with getting into the film.
No. It's I can only imagine. Okay, thought experiment. Swap Eraserhead and Inland Empire in career positions. If this comes out in 1977, does David Lynch ever get to make another film again? Does Mel Brooks give him money for Elephant Man? Does Stanley Kubrick say that Inland Empire is his favorite movie?
I could see Kubrick liking it.
I mean, because you look at people say Eraserhead's kooky. Just compare them. Just put them back to back and go.
See, that's why I find it really fitting that it started with Eraserhead and ended with Inland, because I find them really similar in a way.
They are definitely his most polarizing features, I think. You know.
Yeah, kind of.
If you know the Lynch canon, then you could make the argument that Straight Story is the most polarizing, but obviously isn't to a general public. And also, as we talked about,
it's just gonna get really entertaining at the end.
And then we also let's go through this cast. I think is a good place to start. So we have Jeremy Irons, who's wonderful, a great director. Come on, I didn't hear you. And
yeah, good job. Everyone, clap.
Who may steal the movie for me. I really enjoy Jeremy Irons in this film.
Yeah, he is pretty. Yeah, he's very grounded. To me, he's very good. I like him.
Then we have Justin Theroux returning
with a really Southern accent.
Very much so. Returning to play another slicked-haired Hollywood personality.
Yes, attractive.
Yes, no, it looks very good, doesn't it? Again, it just feels like all my favorite parts were done better in Mulholland Drive. I know that this is the capper to the LA trilogy, quote unquote LA trilogy.
Yeah.
And it's the same sort of themes. Who is this person? She's two people. The duality of an actor, the duality of a woman's place in that world. There was this is a remake, everybody else died, you know, all that sort of thing is all there and all present. And intriguing, but again, I've seen done better. Previously.
Yeah, I mean, I see them as pretty different, whereas I see Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive more similar, which is
okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you have the woman's perspective that's shared by them. I just feel like Inland is more nightmarish and in depth about that, and then Mulholland Drive is more focused on the romance between the two characters. Whereas for me, this isn't really about romance. It's more about the lack of romance and the sheer pain. Yeah. Although I don't know about rabbits.
Well, yeah, I mean, there we go. The rabbits, Naomi Watts voicing Susie Rabbit. We do get Naomi Watts. And we also get Laura Harring as Jane Rabbit and party guest at the end. So we get a Mulholland Drive reunion. It's time for everybody's favourite game, Tom's Mad Men Watch. It's a new segment. I've just started it now. We have two Mad Men's in this. We have two Mad Men's in this. We have the guy, I didn't get the name of, from Putnam, Powell and Lowe in season 3, one of the assistant, the English guy, the guy who goes, he'll never play golf again. And he's in this. But in a bigger role, Julia Armand, who is also in Curious Case of Benjamin Button, but is most famously, I guess, Megan's mother, Megan Calvé. And she finally ends up with Roger in a lovely ending.
Okay.
Yes, she is. What's the character's name? Marie Calvé. She has the great episode where she makes Roger pay to have all of Don's furniture removed. And Don comes home and c'est bon begins playing. Can you tell I like Mad Men? And there we go. So that is Tom's Mad Men watch.
The great scene in Mad Men as well, where she pulls the screwdriver out.
That is my favorite scene in Mad Men. Yeah, brute. Absolutely. Let's talk about Julia Armand in this. Let's talk about the screwdriver business. Oh my God, you are right. I don't know how it's never clicked for me before, but you are completely right. This is the closest thing he's ever done to absolute, undeniable horror.
Yeah, it's
unsettling, unnerving.
It's like there's no breather until the end.
Mm.
It's just like a descent into madness, really, and until obviously the end when she's watching the TV.
Can you even imagine going to the cinema in 2006? Okay, I'm going to watch Inland Empire. Let's not even do the thought experiment of somebody who doesn't know it's a David Lynch movie. Oh, there's this Laura Dern. All right, two teenagers
from Jurassic Park.
Yes, it's that woman who wore that delightful salmon shirt and cargo shorts in Jurassic Park. I had an ex who had the exact same salmon shirt, and I always said, "You like Laura Dern in Jurassic Park?" And she went, "What?" And then she looked at me. It's a fun story. We have a reunion again of mother and daughter. We have the wonderful Diane Ladd returning as a delightfully perverse and brutal and savage TV host.
And William H. Macy, who shows up for one scene.
Hello, welcome to the show.
Welcome and thank you.
I think I enjoy more of that. For me, the Polish stuff and the deep horror is the heart of it, and it is the film. But it's the stuff where I'm less interested.
Yeah, that's fair.
And but as much as I'm interested in the other stuff, again, it's just been seen better in Mulholland Drive.
I mean, you don't want a woman monologuing about the vagina wall in the climax of the film.
Well, I want you to help me out, Jay, because I can't figure this out. In that, I really recognize Ian Abercrombie, who plays the guy who plays Henry the Butler, and he's really, really familiar. But I have no idea, and I've looked through. I'm looking through it again now. I have no idea where I know him from, but I definitely know that face. But I've looked through his entire film catalogue. It's baffling.
Seinfeld?
No, this is my own deep Inland Empire.
He was in one episode of Twin Peaks.
I don't know. You're not going to answer my mystery, because I don't know myself. It's a mystery that will haunt me until I die.
Oh, it might be Twin Peaks.
Go on. Who is in Twin
He's-
Peaks?
He's the one that shows up at Shelley and Leo's and is the creepy insurance guy with the chair.
Might be that.
You know when they get the chair?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, yes, money. I can't remember. He's like,
Well, this is something that we keep going back to. He loves working with the same people over and over again. We've talked about, his cute nicknames for everybody, but it's a real to say we're dealing with deeply, deeply disturbing at points perverse movies. There's a real family atmosphere about it. Everybody's working together and everybody loves it.
I know. For me, when I first saw this, I kind of thought it was in the same kind of world as Mulholland. But then obviously at the end with with Laura Harring showing up. I just saw her as the same character as Rita.
I think you could see her as Rita. I don't know if you could see Justin Theroux as Kasia. I think that's your only problem.
Yeah,
Other than that, I'd get more in on it.
Yeah.
Soundtrack corner. I mean, got lots of nice Lynch samples. I guess undeniably it's the locomotion dance sequence, which is bizarre, baffling.
Yeah.
And
I like the
completely out of the blue
song.
The end song, Cinnamon, Nina Simone.
Oh, that's great as well. The Lynch one. Strange What Love Does, that one.
Oh, that is good, yeah. It's a tough one. There's lots of scenes that I watch on YouTube, but I very rarely do the whole film. That's my sort of overall
I think this is my third time doing the whole film.
Well, it's just a big tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, especially finding 3 hours for me.
Yeah. Oh no, I can find 3 hours. I mean,
yeah.
Love the Godfather daily. I do. Godfather and Magnolia. God, I love Magnolia. That's just. When do you want to cry, Tom? Okay, I'll cry now.
I really want to watch Magnolia.
Magnolia is excellent. Now what we do is Oscar travesty. This is an odd one. I usually sometimes I skip it, but we are going to talk about the Oscars.
Can you get the picture?
I haven't got the picture to
Oh.
hand. However, I think to describe it is so. These were the 5 nominations for Best Actress this year. Reese Witherspoon for Walk the Line with her winning. Judi Dench, Mrs. Henderson Presents. Felicity Huffman, Transamerica. Keira Knightley, Pride and Prejudice. And Charlize Theron in North Country. All fine nominations. Not.
But do cows have milk?
There we go. This is what we're trying to get at, is that David Lynch didn't have enough money for a major Oscar campaign, and the studio had no idea what to do with it. And so he sat on a corner in LA with a cow, with a big for your consideration sign for Laura Dern to try and get some publicity. And it worked. We're still talking about it today.
Yeah.
And, come and go and watch Inland Empire. See the best performance of the year, Laura Dern. And again, it's just so selfless. I just see, there's no doubt in my mind that was a manipulative thing for people to watch the film. Yeah. I believe he completely felt that Laura Dern was the best performance of the year.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can make the argument. I mean, when it comes to exertion, all other manner of things, it's an undeniable piece of work.
Yeah. She is fantastic.
The campaign did fail. Let me see if it got any other nominations at any other awards, because it certainly didn't get any at the Oscars. But this strikes me. I bet there's going to be a Razzie or something. Oh no, 4 wins and 20 nominations. The Cahiers du Cinema gave it best film. Second place tied with Death Proof and Still Life. So Death Proof.
Oh, where was that on your podcast? Oh no, on your podcast Instagram.
That's no. Well, we had to cut it because he had to do 9 movies. Sorry. Well, no, for those of you who don't know, we are currently in the midst of our Tarantino or whatever. And so we currently don't know what has been ranked the best of Tarantino. Go over to our Instagram. Hey, smash that like button. Go to our Instagram. Go to our Twitter. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Follow us. Carruthers, Leggetter, and Whoever. Bro. It's totally cool. Totally cool, bro. But he didn't win. Nobody won. Nobody won anything. Jay, do you want to talk about some best lines?
Best line? Oh crap! I didn't even write any. Oh, actually, yeah, I didn't even write any. Oops.
Do any come to mind?
Um,
I'm a big fan of. If you're looking for shock value, Marilyn, I suggest you look in the mirror.
Yeah, there you go. There's if it were tomorrow, you'd be sat over there, which by Grace Briskin, which is nice. She's so scary.
I love. You know what I love? You know what my new favorite thing in the world is, Jay? You watching movies and messaging me random things and me knowing exactly what they are.
Yeah.
And your message the other night was Grace Zabriskie may be the scariest of all the Lynch performers. And I think you immediately jump to Sarah Palmer and you think of her crying and it's very sad. But the return.
Yeah.
The return,
Holy
Wild at Heart, and this.
It's
woof.
The return.
I mean, Christ.
Is there any more haunting image than part 17 with the screaming over the top of her? I don't know if I can spoil it, but with her smashing the photo.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
And when she talks to Hawks as well.
A great little Zabriskie moment. I think it is very important for neighbors to come over and say, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Some men change. Well, they don't change. They reveal. They reveal themselves over time, you know. Good lines. People never talk. We've talked about this before, multiple times on this now. How nobody talks about Lynch as a writer.
Yeah.
But frequently, his dialogue is glowing.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that whilst watching this, and then I didn't take any lines. I was like, yes, the dialogue is great.
The next thing we do, I've been pretty negative throughout. I don't really have any specific changes. Do you have any changes that jump out to you?
Trying to think. I don't know. Maybe the vagina wall monologue for me is a bit.
The original vagina monologues was David Lynch. Should have put him on.
There's like a bunch of cutscenes from it as well.
I don't need any more Inland Empire.
More.
He's going to release a 4-hour cut. David Lynch's Inland Empire.
The Lynch cut. Yeah, there's like another 76 minutes of cutscenes.
I'm all right.
Yeah,
I can.
It's called More Things That Happened.
I think I'm fine to say I'm going to skip that. Here are a few fun facts, though. Marketing executives were so puzzled by the film that they did not know how to promote it. They eventually chose the tagline, "A Woman in Trouble," based on David Lynch's sole explanation of the film as a mystery about a woman in trouble. Laura Dern and Justin Theroux have both said that they have no idea what the film is about. I guess makes sense. Laura Dern has said that the genesis of the whole project was a phone call from David Lynch saying, "Do you want to come and experiment?" In the brief scene where Jeremy Irons is speaking to his gaffer through a megaphone, it is, of course, none other than David Lynch as Bucky.
Yeah.
It's a great moment. Jay, here's some trivia. Laura Dern and Justin Theroux would later appear together again in what 2017 film? They have no
Star Wars
scenes
Last
together.
Jedi.
Star Wars: The Last Jedi is correct.
Yeah.
Well done. Tagline rundown. A woman in trouble, or a story of mystery, a mystery inside worlds within worlds, unfolding around a woman in love and in trouble. I think that's taking it a bit too
I
far.
think there's a woman in trouble somewhere in this.
She's deep within a world, that's literally the lyrics to a wheel within a wheel, a never spinning playground on which we all reveal. And I don't even have any Tom's Big Questions this time. Maybe this is just too big a beast for me. I've struggled with it for years, but it's one of those things.
Okay.
However, we will not be ending our Lynch month on that sour note. We will, as a matter of fact, be ending it on a glorious note of celebration.
A very funny note.
And rankings. I have at number 9, Inland Empire.
Okay. I have. Wait, how are we doing this?
You're number 9.
Okay, number 9, Dune.
Okay. Oh, actually, 1 minute. This is what we'll do. So this is what I do with Will when we rank things. We're going to have an official ranking of us both. So if any of them match, then I'll lock them in straight away. So as a matter of fact, I'm going to change mine immediately, and I'm going to bump Dune down, and I'll give us Dune at the bottom. So Dune across the way.
Dune. Okay.
I have at number 8 now Inland Empire.
I have The Elephant Man.
That's going to be a tough one. I have at number 7 Lost Highway.
Okay.
What do you have?
I have Wild at Heart.
It's going to be a tough one. We may have to abandon the boat. I'm going to abandon it now. There's no way to salvage this.
Okay.
Sorry. So your number 7 was Wild at Heart. Okay.
Yes.
My number 6 is Eraserhead.
It's saved.
Oh, ding dong.
Yeah. Eraserhead.
My number 5 is Wild at Heart.
Okay. My number 5 is Lost Highway.
Okay. My number 4 is Straight Story.
My number 4 is Blue Velvet.
Oh, okay. Big climbers. Wait, I've not heard. Oh my God. My number 3 is The Elephant Man.
My number 3 is Inland.
Wow. Okay. Enjoy it.
I will.
Your number 2 must be mine's Blue Velvet. Your must be
Straight Story.
Straight Story. Very nice.
Yeah.
Do. And without a doubt, almost unequivocally.
Yep.
Silencio. Jay, it's been a distinct pleasure having you on for our.
Great time.
What month is this? This is August. For our Lynchian month of August. We have next August already booked in, but sometime in the future there will be Twin Peaks for all you Lynch heads out there. There will be Twin Peaks. I'm saying once again, there will be Twin Peaks. Jay, it has been a distinct pleasure. Lynch means the world to me, but he really, really, really means the world to you. I would be a terrible host if I didn't let you have the final word on Lynch for this month.
Okay. Well, I've really enjoyed talking about my favorite director with you, and I hope that the people who watch the podcast or listen have enjoyed the month, even though it's been a wild and crazy ride through the deep, dark woods. But I'd just like to say thank you to Tom and to David Lynch for making these films.
Everybody, there we go. Thank you, David Lynch.
And to all the viewers out there, thank you.
Thank you, David Lynch. Bye-bye.
Dabba 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 da da ba 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 ba